Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, this some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. This some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thoughts and harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only a few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yo, we're in the building, people. What's going on, man? I hope everyone is blessed. I know I've been away for a minute, but I am back. And we're back today with a little bit of a gossip, as per usual, with Liverpool. You know, you can never believe anything when it comes to Liverpool Football Club. I promise you that. You never, ever really know. Do you know what I mean? Anytime you guys hear transfer news, I'll be honest, more time it's probably never coming true. But I thought this one would be a little bit of a fun one to kind of dive into. Guys, make sure you're smashing the like button, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. So, what we're here to look at, ZAIRE-EMERY, PSG midfielder, apparently has been linked to Liverpool. He's been linked to Liverpool. Can you imagine the like top young baller? You know, like, guys, if you haven't gone to see my player watch, I think this might even be season 1. This might have been like one of my earliest player watches. I did this back in like 2023. You know what I'm saying? I had a bit less beard, a bit less weight, bro. Trust me, it was time ago. That's how long we've been talking about ZAIRE-EMERY, man. Absolute, in my opinion anyway, he's an absolute bad boy. Absolute bad boy. I think he's a fantastic midfielder, young midfielder as well. You know, he's not even like he's, 25, 20. No, the guy, I believe he's still 20. I think he might be about 19, 20 years of age. You know, made his debut for France back at, I think it's like 16. Like, trust me, absolute baller. Sam Maguire here obviously saying Liverpool are keeping a close eye on ZAIRE-EMERY and are prepared to go big on him if given the encouragement. The PSG youngster ticks a lot of boxes for an Arne slot midfielder. Now, obviously, the maddest thing is, right, we've gone through, like a whole summer. We only obviously signed one player. We've kept basically 99%, well, 97% of the same squad that we had last season, barring like a few loans and a couple of the youngsters kind of keeping it moving. So we've got the same kind of squad, right? And because Slot didn't sign anybody apart from Chiesa, we don't really know what type of players and what kind of style does he really like. Like, we're going based off of what we've seen this season. So we know at the beginning of this season, Arne Slot wanted to sign Zubimendi. That's not a secret. We were close to signing him. He changed his mind at the last minute. Absolutely no worries, right? But we knew that that's the type of midfielder that he was looking for back then. Obviously, Gravenberch, because we couldn't get Zubimendi in, I guess they, him plus the hierarchy, Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, FSG, John Hay, whoever, they kind of decided, you know what, cool, we can just run what we've got, right? Now we've been running Gravenberch. Gravenberch been great this season, had a really, really good season, really like shocked quite a lot of people, if I'm being totally honest. I know people could say, yeah, we knew he had the talent and all that kind of BS, but I don't think anybody really knew he was going to do this good, this season. And that's probably maybe even changed Arne Slot's thinking in terms of the type of player that he now wants. So even when we say, when we've got all of these links to this player, that player, etc., until we actually see Arne Slot starting to sign 5, 6, 7 players, and then we can see what his squad looks like in about 2, 3 years, I think we don't really know. So everyone talks about the players that they like, right? And I like ZAIRE-EMERY. I'd love if he came to Liverpool. But is he the right fit? Is that even someone that Slot's even necessarily looking at, kind of thing? I don't know what that kind of price tag would look like for someone like ZAIRE-EMERY first and foremost. Do you know what I mean? Because it sounds like it could be, pretty expensive. So yeah, there is that to kind of contend with. But listen, ultimately, I still think he's a really, really good young player, and I think he would definitely add to the squad. Improve, I don't think I would go as far as saying that, because he's still quite young, and I still think he has got bits to improve upon. But I do think he would add, and I do think he's better than quite a lot of the younger players that we've definitely got, in this squad. And he'd definitely be challenging for a starting spot, in this team. You can see, obviously, this season, he's played 29 times, got himself 3 goals and 1 assist. He's played in a host of positions, man. Centre mid, right back, right mid, defensive midfield. Like, he's a guy who can play in a few of these positions anyway. I would say more central midfield / DM. DM is actually the first position that I actually noticed him in. for the youth teams of PSG. And I remember that, 2023, so about a couple years ago, I remember, I think in that summer, maybe of 2022 potentially, into that 22-23 season, I remember I think PSG had a tour, can't remember where it was, and they brought him along, and I thought, right, like this guy at the time he was like 15, 16 years of age, and I'd heard a few reports, like, yo, this guy's he's pretty good, man. Do you know what I mean? You got to definitely take a look at him, and all of these kind of things. And I thought to myself, okay, here's a decent midfielder. He's quite physical. He's got brilliant technical, ability. He's effective in kind of both, ball recovery, and he's someone who can dictate tempo when he kind of needs to. And I think when I look at a player like this, for me, when I think of someone like ZAIRE-EMERY, I just think straight away he's a box-to-box kind of midfielder. Now, if that's what we're looking for, great. He's not a attacking midfielder. He's not a I'm not going to say he's a DM, so to speak. He is literally, for me, a central midfielder, someone who can get up and down the pitch. But if you put him in certain positions, I feel like he can be quite comfortable, in those positions. Last season as well, look, he played a host of games, last season, when you look at it, 43 games, 3 goals, got himself 7 assists as well. You can see the different positions this season alone, obviously, as I said before, playing right back, he's playing kind of a right wing back here, right midfield, whatever you want to kind of, call it. And I think that's just testament more to him, more than anything else. I think if we get in someone like ZAIRE-EMERY, as I said before, good technical ability, good on the ball, he seems to be quite smart. And I think when you're looking at players like, say, him, João Neves, Vitinha, that kind of midfield, very technical. In my opinion, that's actually the type of midfield I think that someone like Pep would love to have at this current moment in time. With Rodri being injured, KDB on whatever he's on kind of thing, and, the team just not really functioning, looking quite tired. I feel like this would be an ideal midfield, for him. Maybe potentially take away a couple players or even a player here. But I look at that midfield and I think to myself, in terms of player ability, obviously ZAIRE-EMERY and João Neves obviously quite young, but ZAIRE-EMERY in particular, I feel like you've then got your box to box. You've kind of got your engine in that midfield, someone who can make things happen. When I say make things happen, it's sometimes I even just mean it in a case of just being someone to just kind of G up the midfield when he needs to G up, but he's smart enough to know when he needs to do that. If he needs to take a touch, if he needs to, pick out a pass, he can do all of that. And he's good at, the defensive side of the game. I'm not saying he's excellent. I'm not sitting there saying that he's not a finished article type of player, but he is definitely a player that I look at. I mean, you can see here, playing for France, against Germany, he's a top player. I mean, France are like, they've just got too many ballers, man. Like, I'm trying to think. I'd have to probably sit down and think, in terms of how many really good young players, are we getting from so many various different countries? And France is definitely one of them. And ZAIRE-EMERY, he's definitely, near the top, of that kind of list. And obviously, listen, look, he's, signed a deal, previously that was until 2029. So of course, I don't see this being something that's going to be easy to do. It probably would cost us a pretty penny, but you'll be getting one of the best youngsters out there, in my opinion. I think you really be getting someone who I feel is quite ready. I've seen him in the Champions League, seen him playing for PSG in Ligue 1 as well. He's gotten that development. He's gotten that experience, men's football, playing at a high level, of course, in the Champions League this season as well. He really is someone who is moving forward with his development, and he doesn't seem to have kind of stalled. And that's where I feel like getting someone like him in the squad. Sometimes, yeah, and I say this, just for Liverpool fans out there before we look at the stats. Sometimes when you make certain signings, they might not be, would I say, quote unquote, the best player in that position. And obviously, as Liverpool fans, we're used to that anyway. We don't sign players who are finished articles, so he probably fit the remit anyway. But sometimes you sign, and this is more of a PR stunt more than anything else. But sometimes you can sign a player and it's actually just more about what that means to everybody else. Now, listen, of course, people are going to say, oh, worry about yourself. I hear all of that. But sometimes you do look at it and you think, oh, okay, they just signed such and such. I.e., obviously, I'm not saying he's on this level, but you go out and sign an Endrick, for example. Now, Endrick isn't going to be good and he's not going to play consistently enough for Real Madrid at this moment in time. Future. You look at that, he's one of the best youngsters out there in the world. Oh, snap. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I see what you guys are doing. You guys are really future-proofing, yourself. He's a really, really good player. But of course, he's not better than the Mbappes, the Vinnies, and etc. Zaire-Emery, players like this, when you look at them, you think to yourself, yes, you're not the best midfielder. Yes, there are better midfielders out there. I will not lie to you guys. Stats are pretty decent. Progressive carries, he's pretty good at pass completion, 91.4%. He attempts 65.54 passes, per game. He gets in 1.52 blocks per game. So again, both sides of the game, I feel like he's pretty decent at. Doesn't get you, I'm not going to say he's going to get you bundle of assists or anything like that, but that might not be what Arne Slot is potentially looking at. But when you're looking at a player like this, again, I reiterate, it's more about, oh, okay, they just signed Zaire-Emery. They just signed one of the best youngsters in world football right now. All right, I see where you're going with this. Let's see how his development goes. And I do feel like going to Liverpool is, as much as I cuss Liverpool, it is a good place to develop, I feel, for players anyway, just because of, how we kind of are in a general sense. So, yeah, listen, Zaire-Emery for me is a top player. I would love for him to, come to Liverpool. Whether that's obviously going to materialize, I don't know. And I'm going to say it's probably a low possibility. But listen, I would love if we got that, that one done, potentially even early. Maybe we can, I don't know, get 𝐾𝐃 to chat to man, and you know what I mean, just get him to speak with him, and if they're on international duty next, and just speak to him, man, and just kind of see where his head is at, and of course, I feel like this is the kind of right direction. And again, you see the difference when I tell people about like a Stefan Bajcetic or a James McConnell that everyone keeps talking about now for Liverpool, a Ben Doak. They're not nowhere near this level. Nowhere near this level. Now, of course, for you to get to this level, and this isn't even the end level, but to even get to this level that he's at the moment, you need games, etc. Blah blah blah. Players develop at different rates. I get all of that. But when we talk about certain youngsters, he's quite. They're not. I tell you now, I kid you not. They're not even close to that level of what he's at, in my opinion, at this current moment in time. Do you know what I mean? So when I look at it, I'm just like, if we can really go out there, for me, it does make a statement. He's not the best player. So, of course, yes, it's going to take a year or potentially. I mean, it'd be great if he came in and hit the ground running straight away. But I still think, yeah, it might take a year or two, and then we might start seeing, what he's really like, especially because he's also getting older and getting more experience as a footballer, in today's day and age, So, of course, all of those kind of things are going to come into play. But when we talk about someone like Zaire-Emery, I'm telling you now, people, if you do not believe me, I don't even like advocating, oh, just go and watch a comp, but go and watch the comps. Like, go and or even spend some time, go and watch PSG and watch him play. Watch him play with players like Vitinha, João Neves, who's another top player. But go and watch him play with those guys, and you'll see that he is a very, very good footballer. Let me know your thoughts in the chat, people, in the comment section. Would you like to see someone like Zaire-Emery? Is there someone else you feel like we should be trying to go for in the summer? Let me know your thoughts, people, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.